The flexibility of Canvas is great. I find it far more flexible. I find it more intuitive than Blackboard. It's heavily integrated, so you add something, it shows up on the calendar. It's very seamless as you add different components across Canvas. The communication tools in Canvas are far superior to Blackboard. There's an internal email system. It's very nice. You can do online office hours. You can do all sorts of different collaborations among students. I use a peer review component within the essays, which is fabulous, which was not strong in Blackboard at all. So in general, it's a far superior system. What are the problems? Well, it's a brand new system. And just like anything, your cheese has now been moved, and you're just going to have to learn all of this. And there's no easy way to do it. I had a 2-hour session yesterday talking through how to transition people from Blackboard to Canvas, and I felt that after an hour I had just touched the surface, helping people to actually move their stuff and get rolling, and hadn't talked about any of the good stuff yet, because there are lots of details. And Lyra and I were exchanging that both of us are up here having piloted this system. We're not power users at all. I don't know half of what Canvas has to offer. I don't feel like I've touched the surface. I've spent the last semester just getting comfortable within my relatively minimalist course space. And there are so many other things I know I could do if I had another 20 hours a week to play around with it, which none of us have. So I would say start early. Deb's group, NextGen Elms at umd.edu is the email address that you need, okay? They're very responsive. They've got a huge team of people. So I think I average, well, I'll stop with a very responsive team of people. It seems huge because they're so responsive, and I know you're understaffed, but I probably send at least one message a week, probably two, with how do I do this? How do I do this? And boom, I get responses very quickly. The tutorials on the Elms webpage for Canvas are great. They talk through the grading system, which is far superior to Blackboard. So there are a ton of resources available, but you have to spend the time to do it. If you have a winter course, you really got to get cranking. If you're a spring course, don't wait until January 15th to start to play around with this. This overall layout, you have multiple courses, most of you. You can go easily to assignments, easily to grades, easily to calendar. So if we look here in assignments, this is a course in which everybody has to submit essays. If I want to set up, I can set up an assignment, and you can see over here I can set up a peer review process. I can easily add an assignment. It shows up very minimally here. You title your assignment, and hopefully everybody can see the mouse because I don't have anything better. You can label the type of assignment it's going to be. Maybe it's a quiz. Maybe it's linked to your discussion board. When is it due? Down to the minute. So you can have very specific deadlines, which I use in my course. The number of points. Both Lyra and I use these assignment groups. So you're going to link assignments to different phases of the course, different aspects of the course, which we often do. But this is probably the more critical link right here, more options. For any assignment that you build, definitely click on this because it gives you a text box to actually tell people what the assignment is. Okay, all of this is kind of hidden under this More Options tab. You can then set up peer reviews. You can tell us whether this is an online submission, whether it's on paper, whether it's no submission at all. No submission at all works very well for things like participation points that you might build out in a discussion section, for instance. You can do group assignments. There are all sorts of different, again, level of details that are really phenomenal and allow you to individualize, customize your course really quite nicely. Yeah, so you can build out all of this stuff well in advance. So in January, you build out all of your assignments, even though you may not want some of them available to students until March or April. It's okay, you just lock it and then it'll appear right after that locked button. You can lock submissions for the assignments as well, so that way students can't submit anything after a certain deadline, and you know immediately whether or not it's a late assignment or not. The other really nice thing, now that I'm logged in, that I'll show you is within assignments, when you go in to do grading of an assignment, you use something called Speed Grader. This is possibly the coolest thing ever, okay? I know, it's a geeky thing, but it's very cool if you grade assignments. You click on the assignment in Speed Grader, and if it's an online submission, it's right there. Okay, you can see the entire submission. You can add comments using this directly to the file. You can say, ooh, this was really poor, whatever the case is. You can link it with a rubric. I don't have a rubric linked in this particular assignment, but I can easily grade the assignment. I can add a comment about this particular assignment, post it for the student, and then I just go right to the next person.
Steve,
Boom.
do you ever use the record tool so that you give them a media feedback?
I haven't done that, but that's very easy too. I could attach a file and say, you should have really considered adding this, or I could use this record tool and put my face right in their face and say, you really did an excellent job, whatever the case is. Yeah, I haven't done that because I feel like I'm in their face enough, but yeah, so that kind of gives an overview of just some of the details within assignments. The grade book, I mean, fundamentally, a grade book is just a whole listing of grades. This one seems fine. Relatively easy to manage. The calendar is nice. You can easily, anything you have that's dated, so assignments or other things in your syllabus that have a date on them, boom, automatically get added to the calendar. Sometimes that can be a little overwhelming for a course like mine that has lots of small little detail things. I ended up deleting a lot of things out of the calendar because it was just a mess and students were losing sight of the big picture. I would change it in the assignment itself and then update the assignment. That will automatically update the calendar. And when you do that, within assignments, there's a little notation right where basically the save button is that says notify students of this change. So you would click that, click update, and then boom, everybody in your course knows that you've made that update to the assignment. I guess one thing that is important to note within any of these courses is that students have the opportunity to turn off communication in Canvas. So if you want to send them an email or you want to send an announcement out, which hopefully you all will use within Canvas, you need to let students know that they shouldn't be turning off those notifications, okay? Because it's relatively easy to do. Students will be able to go into settings.
There's settings at the top, not the course settings.
Oh, this one here? Okay, settings. As I say, I'm no power user. Notifications. So this one right here, notifications. There are a bazillion things that you can be notified about. You can be notified immediately, weekly, et cetera, or not at all. And if your students decide to deselect some of these, you could be sending out all sorts of wonderful things about your course, and they are completely blind to them. Okay? So you need, and I've heard the suggestion that you just put in your syllabus, you have to leave certain notifications on, either daily or weekly, to ensure that your course communications are getting through. This just sends to their, sends to their email. They can also have it sent to their phone, texting. I mean, the communications in this are very smooth and sophisticated. There's an app for Canvas, but it's far more limited than what you see on the web. You can only get access to a couple of components. So if the discussion board is something you use heavily, then that is incorporated in the app and it might be useful for your students. Speed Grader app, no kidding.
For the iPad.
Ooh, okay. I know what I'm doing as soon as the session's done. download my SpeedGrader app. Yeah.
I have several questions. One,
I'll do the easy ones, and
Okay.
Lyra will do the hard ones.
All right. First, is there a glossary tab on Canvas?
I would suggest building out a page then that would
Okay.
incorporate all of that, and maybe you could just cut and paste all of that material into a page. And pages are really nice. It's basically just a blank page, and you get to edit it however you want to. And so in this case, this is the first page that my students see, and I've added some links to take them to other components of the course space, other links that take them outside. So you could have a page that is just simply glossary, and the entire thing is listed right there.
Courses with TAs, since I'm not the one who grades the assignments, does this require some sort of special enabling to allow them to see the assignments and hand out the grades
Yeah.
electronically?
So I have a TA for this course. He's linked with all of the different sections in the course. He can go in and do grading for his components. I grade for my components. Yeah, there are lots of different ways that you can integrate somebody. There's a designer person.
It's like a course builder and Blackboard.
Yeah, exactly. So someone who can come in and just work behind the scenes but doesn't have access to grading and some other components as well. So there's a lot of flexibility there. So students are added, for winter courses they'll be added automatically,
Yes, yes.
and for spring, etc. So yeah, that should be pretty seamless.
Can you upload MP3s?
Yeah. Any kind of file you want to add. So, you know, in my course, if I go into course documents, I've got a list. I just build mine out per week. And then in each one, mostly I have PDF files, but in some cases I have online links that students follow. If I want to edit this and add something to it, so I want to add something down here, as Lyra showed, I could just link to something already on my page. I could add a file, in which case that could be your MP3, you name it, add images, or using this little button here, which is a little bit hidden and obscure. This is how you add in external link. So the pages are nice. As I say, if I wanted to save this, change that I was doing, I could save the changes, but I could notify users that I did make this change. So I've updated the syllabus, an assignment, course documents, whatever. I could build all of this out ahead of time and hide it. So the April Fool's page comes up on April 1st rather than the beginning of the semester. You can change who edits it, so it could become, in effect, a wiki, for those of you who do wikis, because anybody in the course can edit it. So it's pretty flexible in that way. Why don't I go into student view, I guess, probably. So down in settings, as Lyra showed, once you go in there, you can click student view and get a nice view. And it's really nice because down at the bottom, it shows that you are in student view. Okay, and you have to leave student view in order to get back into the editing mode. And then when you go into assignments, what's beautiful about this student view mode is that you can do everything. You can submit an assignment, you can test run the whole thing, and then reset it when you're done, and it all goes back to where you started. I think I have one that's available though. So this one is still live. So I'm just going to come over here and submit the assignment. So in this case, all of this text I put in here for the student so they know what they need to do. And then I limited what kinds of files they could upload. So they can't upload some 1980s ASCII file that nobody can open. They're limited to those particular extensions. And then submit a file. And just like that, you browse, you find your file. But you can also add comments and say, please, I need an A in this course. Just the sorts of things that we always get this time of year. So, yeah, you'll find some strange comments that come along with some of your assignments.
And they can resubmit as well.
So they add another file.
That's right,
Yeah.
they can. And so they, assuming you haven't locked submissions, they can continue to add submissions up until that locked date. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Which might be useful,
Yeah.
might not, if they're serial resubmitters.
I do think that clarifying in the syllabus or somewhere about the notification settings is important, because I've gotten some feedback. I get notified 5 times a day, so which is
Right.
going to happen unless they adjust it. And so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so you can easily send messages to people. If someone has sent you a message, you can easily reply back. You have to check on these little boxes on the side in order to forward a message. So the one little glitch I find with this is that if I wanted to just easily reply but then CC my TA, I have to start a new message. I can't easily add somebody to a reply to a student. But as Marianne pointed out to me yesterday, if I just started a new message, how do I get out of here? I could just start a new message to this person, Christopher, and add my TA as well. So, anybody. And then I add my TA, and then type the message. It will still show up in his box. So it's organized basically by person rather than by date or how we normally structure our emails. It's a different organizational structure. So any communication that you ever send is always saved under that particular student.
The tools I use the most are, of course, assignments, which looks more like this. It's connecting. I would say 2 of the coolest features about Canvas are, they're small things, but being able to move stuff around from a location to location is lovely. And for students, I like their view of what their to-do list is or their assignments is very helpful to see. Now we're in student view. It looks like this. So when they come into our course, that's what they see. Upcoming assignments, undated, past assignments, and down at the bottom they'll have overdue, and which will appear in red if they've missed something, if it's late. See my grades so far, et cetera, et cetera. I did a survey over the past week asking students about their experiences. When they come to Canvas, where do they go first? Can they find everything easily? And I've gotten excellent feedback on how easy it is to find their assignments and what they have to do. So with pages, which are all wiki pages, so this would be wiki. Wiki is pages. These are also easy to create, and you can link them to the home page. So my tech support, class notes, individual pages, vocab words, notes for my TAs, welcome video. All of these can indeed be put on the home page. And I realized about halfway through this semester that despite how easy it is to find the homework, it's also very helpful to put it on the home page as well. Oh, and this is, all right, one of the coolest things, and then I guess I'll stop. One of the coolest things about Canvas is how easy it is to add content to any page. This includes assignments. If I wanted to put the notes there, I just click over here to the right. If I wanted to remind students to take the blended learning survey, I could put that right on the home page just with the click of a mouse. And that's what it would look like. So that, again, they're small details, but they're important ones as far as building pages quickly and easily. Well, there is a parallel. It's called collaborations.
Okay, that's right, that's right.
Oh, excuse me, conferences.
But this is how you would do online office hours,
Online
for
office
instance,
hours, for
right?
sure. I don't know what I just did. And am I in 07? Courtney. Online office hours, I don't know how long I want this to be. I'm not inviting all course members, I'm just inviting my Stealth TA. As you can hear, and create conference. So this is this would be a place in which you could be on video. You can talk. Courtney can come in and talk with me if she wants to. Upload your PowerPoints, etc. So it exists.
Multiple participants.
Yeah, I hold classes here through conferences. Hi, Courtney. I don't know if the mute settings or anything are on here. We're
Don't say anything inappropriate.
She knows she's a plant. I had her on standby.
That's great.
So, but she could go on video, as could we, and talk this way. It's decent. There are, as I said, I do run classes through conferences. When I do group work, I go to Google. So.
I hadn't been in Blackboard, but how about you? Did you?
I did. I spent probably 10 minutes in the first day of class just going through the basics of Canvas.
Okay.
I did ask my students about week 3, what do you like better, Blackboard or Canvas? And most of them said Blackboard, and I was shocked. And it turned out that almost all of them had used Blackboard in high school. And so it was just simply, like us, who moved my cheese? I need to figure out a new system. Now they love it, but it was just working through a new system. Yeah, they're fine, and they've been using it really well. So I haven't logged into Blackboard since August, and I don't miss it at all.
Right.